NBA ASAP. MBA ASAP. Hello and welcome to another episode of MBA ASAP, where we explore business skills and knowledge so you can level up your expertise and learn skill sets that will make you more valuable at your job and career, or help you start something on the side, a little side hustle, or let you quit your job and start your own business. I'm your host, John Cousins. Let's get started. Hi, and welcome to another episode of MBA ASAP. Today, I'm really excited. My guest is Jonikas, and he is a European expert on entrepreneurship and startups, and this is just a great, fascinating conversation. He interviewed over 1,000 startups, 1,400 some odd startups, and then ended up doing 500 plus really in-depth interviews with them to find out what they did, how they did it, what methodologies they'd use, how they reduced risk, how they performed in order to become successful. And he put all that information together, and he put his research and his findings together in a book called The Startup Evolution Curve. And that book is available through Amazon. You should check it out. It's a fascinating how-to manual of startups and entrepreneurship. So here's what he wrote about it. I have written this simple and actionable step-by-step guide to share my global research findings on how to start a startup business based on innovation or innovative business ideas. And that's basically it. He talks about how he started, how organically this whole process developed, how he got interested in this field, and then how he did the research. So check it out. Stay tuned. You also look at his website. His website is evolutioncurve.com. And there you can download 20 templates, startup planning templates. They're very cool, Excel templates and things. And also download 100 pages of his book. So it's a great place to really get introduced to his ideas. So without further ado, here's the conversation with Jonikas. I hope you enjoy it, and catch you on the other side. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and thanks for making the time available.
Yeah, that's awesome to talk to you as well. Yeah.
And where are you located? Are you in Lithuania?
Yes.
In Vilnius?
Yes. No, I'm in Klaipėda, in the city port of Lithuania.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, it's the only port in our country, and I happen to live here. So.
Oh, fantastic! So that's on the Baltic or the North Sea? Is it?
Yes, it's on the shores of Baltic Sea. Yeah.
Baltic Sea. I know Lithuania from my father was a honorary Knight of Lithuania. Always had a soft spot for Lithuania. First of all, I love your work. Your book is fantastic, and I know you have a consulting practice and the evolutioncurve.com website. And I don't know where you'd like to start talking about all the things. There's lots of questions I have. I like the way you organized your book, and that might be a way to go through and talk about the evolution curve and your work, and the fact that it's research-based, evidence-based. You started out with a survey and took those results, and I guess codified that into your thinking of the evolution curve, and then also you've codified together all of what I think is the best thinking from startups with Steve Blank and Eric Ries and Sean Ellis, and then also on marketing with Stephen Kotler and the rest, and Al Ries and Jack Trout, and with Brad Feld and valuations and fundraising and just all the different, and then growth hacking and all the different steps, and minimal viable product and Osterwalder and the business model canvas. And so I just love to talk about all those things and how that has fit into your work.
Okay. Okay. So
that's that's a lot.
Yeah. So maybe should I share the general idea of the book, how I came to writing this book, how I came to the research, and what I found during it. Maybe that could be a start of our talk.
That sounds fantastic.
No. So, as you probably already might know, I've been in consulting practice in marketing for more than 12 years. And most of those years I was working with traditional businesses. But for approximately 4 or 5 years, I started working with innovative businesses. Not everyone such business called himself a startup, but they were innovative, non-startup. They were strange businesses, such thing that it was never done before. And from few clients, I got the feedback that, Donatas, the more complicated situation is, the more it's non-standard, the better you can help us, because none of other marketers, for instance, who are best in restaurant marketing, the best in B2B marketing, yes, they know that niche, that specifics, that's okay. But when we have non-regular businesses, they don't have anything to suggest for us. But together with you, we achieved some results. And they said, yeah, that sounds interesting for me as well, because it's like and a challenge as well. And every client is something new. It's not like, okay, let's build another one restaurant and spin it off. No. Each business is different, and when you do the job, it has to be, you have to love it. That's basically the main core principle. And 4 or 5 years ago, I said, okay, I don't want to work with traditional businesses. Okay, if some clients will come, my old clients, okay, I will help them. But now I want to focus on startups, on technology businesses, on innovative businesses, on some kind of value innovation-based businesses. That's it, what I'm interested in. And I started looking for methodologies, how to do the best, because, okay, yeah, I had 2 chances to do the work, that's okay, but, you always have to improve yourself. So I started reading a bunch of books, attending a bunch of webinars, live events, conferences, visiting abroad, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they saw that, okay, there are some common knowledge that should be accumulated into one spot. And each time when I start talking to new potential customers, I have to educate them. Come on, guys, it's not so fast. You don't have to be hurried for fundraising, because you don't have A, B, C, D. And they said, wow, that's a lot of job to be done. I said, yes. So let's do your homework first, and then we will go for fundraising. That's it. Another cases are quite well known that, okay, we need a growth hacker, everything, yes, our business is already built, we just need something for our growth and everything will be super. I said, okay, guys, do you have, for instance, an upsell strategy? Do you have a cross-sell strategy, downsell strategy? No. So what you going to do with the traffic that will come to you if the growth hacker does his job well? Oops. So I said, okay, maybe instead of educating each of those clients, I should prepare some kind of a material. It was not just an idea like writing a book, just some kind of, I don't know, a white paper or something like that, like a hand note, like a cheat sheet for clients to get to know, like some kind of a track from A to B to C, what should be done generally. But when I started to preparing it, to outlining it, I saw that, wow, there is much stuff to be covered in it, and maybe it could be a book, actually. And it was not an issue for me to write a book. I'm an author of 3 books, but these 3 books were one was written in Lithuanian, two books were written in English, but they were for students, like for universities in Lithuania, and those 2 books in foreign countries. But yeah, students have to read it. They must do that. And now I wanted to write the book that people would love to read. They would like to get knowledge from it. So I said, okay, before writing the book, I have, first of all, to test it, like startups do, test their ideas and try to find the product market fit. So, okay, how could I do that? I was invited to one of the events. It was called the Investors Day, I guess. It was held in Vilnius, but it covered various startups from Belarus, from Estonia, like from Eastern Europe. And international public was, and as well David Goldsmith was over there, and he was listening to me when I was trying to explain the whole concept of the book. So my story was that I was invited to share some kind of advices how to prepare irresistible offer, how to prepare a value-based proposition for startups, for any innovative businesses, and how to communicate that value. I said, okay, guys, these are methodologies, etc., etc., etc. And at the end, I showed the mock-up of my book. It was a 3D mock-up. The book was not yet published, but I just hired a designer and said, okay, the cover should look like this. And I said, this book will be about, and I showed the table of contents, which was just an initial idea. And I said, how do you love that? And by the way, guys, all those templates that we talked in this seminar will be available in this book, and you can download them even right now. Go to evolutioncurve.com and download them. Take them if you need it. So that was my
minimal viable product.
Yes, and it was qualitative research and quantitative research. Quantitative was I was counting, okay, how many downloads there were, and approximately 20% of those who were in the classroom, in the audience. The next day, I saw that roughly 20%, 25 downloaded those templates. And they said, well, it's some kind of a meaningful number for me. Yeah. I didn't expect that everyone will go and grab that, but one of 4 people did that, and they said, okay, it looks like that this material is interesting for the audience. Maybe I should proceed with the book. And regarding the qualitative feedback, I said, okay, how do you like the concept? And yeah, I got some questions. I answered them. Yes, this will be covered in the book. Wow, this idea is as well good, so I should include it in the book. Just like a dialogue with the audience. Simply, what would you like to have that in the book? And one of the best questions probably was, why should we believe you? Somebody from the audience said, okay, it looks like reasonable. You have the PhD, you have practice, you have testimonials, whatever. But why? Maybe my startup is totally different. Maybe you didn't cover those topics that are particularly important in my case. So why? Why should I believe? Why should I trust? Why should I read this book, even if it will be 200 or 300 pages? Maybe I should invest this time in somewhere else. And I said, I thought to myself, okay, this is my credibility points, this, but this guy is right. Damn, I have to answer this question, why you should read this book, why you should believe in that. And David Goldsmith said, yeah, Donatas, your points are good that you shared with the audience, but that question is really painful, but as well very important. You have to find the answer. Why? Why should people believe in you? And I said, yeah, that's the task. I should find the answer. And during the coffee break in the same conference, another guy came, and we had a discussion that his startup is totally different from, like, it's not a social network. So even if Mark Zuckerberg would written a book, this guy says, my startup is a hardware startup. So maybe social networks is not for me. Maybe the best practices are not suitable for me. And maybe if some authors have developed 5 startups or 10 startups, but if they are different from mine, so I probably wouldn't believe 100% that these methodologies will be suitable for me as well. And I got a little bit angry for myself for the situation. I said, how about 1,000 startup stories? How about 1,000 experience from 1,000 startups? And the guy said, yeah, that would be amazing. I would definitely read that book.
Excellent.
And I said, yeah, I have the answer. Now I have to find out how to provide this, how to gather the experience of 1,000 startups. I could count maybe 10 or 20 startups, the founders whom I know, whom I could contact and ask, okay, could you fill the survey? Could we do the interview? That's it, just 10, 20. I needed 1,000. So how should I do that? Yeah, I was driving home from the conference about 300 kilometers. So I started building some ideas. Okay, I could do this. I could reach out to this person. I could use LinkedIn. I could check groups on LinkedIn. I could check Facebook special groups for, okay, I love startups and all those kind of stuff. Okay, I should build a survey. Maybe I should somewhere advertise it. Maybe I could reach like startup platforms like inmind.com and others, Slovak startup, that many startups read those websites, those portals, so they could find the survey. Yes, so I should provide some kind of value. And yeah, that's how I came to the research.
Fantastic. Wow. That's great. So you actually, you developed this in an organic way using the tools that you've generalized as a startup methodology to actually launch your book. That is just great.
Yes. I did what I'm teaching.
Right, right, exactly. And I think that's a great way to do it, obviously, and to see it works. And that's amazing. Even those conversion rates you were talking about of having about 25% of the people download your material after that conference, that's just a great, I mean, that's a huge rate right there and tells you you're on the right track. So then you put together a survey or something, a survey that then as people on those different websites or those social media say, yeah, I'll be happy to, tell you my story or something, that then you got the information together that way.
The survey took quite long time to be built because I first of all developed the methodology that seemed to be the best one according to the theoretical findings to other authors, like you mentioned previously, that should be built, the minimum viable product. We should think about checking the hypotheses and all that stuff. Right. I tried to stick that in the questionnaire, and then I asked startup founders, okay, guys, let me indicate what is your stage of the startup currently. Okay, how much money you have fundraised? Are you already in the market? Are you earning revenue? And all those statistical data about those startups. And then I asked, okay, which of those methodologies you have implemented? Which of those have helped you the most? And if I found the answers that we didn't do this, then I asked, okay, didn't you know about this methodology? Or maybe you didn't know how to apply it. Or if you knew that methodology and you knew how to apply it, but you didn't apply it, why? Is there a reason for that? And more than 1,500 startup founders filled the survey, provided the answers. Yeah, sure. I had a security question in the survey, which is like, if you carefully read, please mark this answer. So I was sure that I have calculated answers only from those people who were reading carefully and answering. Yeah, and
excellent. And is that like having a security question off? You have your PhD, and to be able to do that kind of research, and then to go through and statistically codify that research and all, that ability came from your expertise from doing your PhD research, or is that
my PhD? I've got skills during my PhD studies, and I used those skills in this research. Yeah. But my PhD topic was totally different. It was about value created through corporate social responsibility. It's totally, totally out from startups.
Right, but a different topic, but the methodology and the skill set that you learned going through your PhD allowed you to do this research. Those are transferable skills that you could use. That's excellent. And so you started with a great body of knowledge, and then did you use those people throughout the process as you then put together the book and say, what do you think about this and that?
Yes. The second step was to follow in-depth interviews with those startup founders whose story might be interesting and might be valuable to share. So I said, okay, guys, if you would like to have a one-on-one chat with me, I could answer your questions. Have in mind that I'm a marketing consultant. It would be beneficial for you as well. You share your experience. If you have some kind of questions, some kind of issues, just share them with me. Maybe I will have some ideas, some advices. It would be both beneficial. And let's do that. I expected, maybe 10% or 20% of those whom I choose will say yes, but generally I had approximately 700 startups who marked, yes, we would like to have the in-depth interview session with you, and we could provide additional material. But time was very, very pressing me, so I did nearly 500 in-depth interviews. One of those were longer, another one were shorter. So the longest interview was almost 2 hours we were talking about. The shortest was 5 or 7 minutes because I saw, they are not as good as I thought from the initial interviews, from the initial dose. These for instance, I was not trying to quantify during the in-depth interviews some kind of statements. I was looking for interesting examples and for like explanation why was made such decision. Why didn't they use this methodology? How they applied this methodology and why it failed for them. So just looking for the answers. And after the survey and in-depth interviews, I have redone my table of contents of the book. Initially, I saw that we have to talk about 5 stages. Mm-hmm. It's like feasibility study, then checking your hypotheses, and etc. But after finalizing the research, I made changes in the content of the book. So I put all that stuff that seemed to be most valuable for those more than 1,000 startups, and excluded other methodologies, which I thought as well could be awesome and could be great and should be used, but none of those startups used. And for instance, most of those methodologies seem to be too complicated to implement. Maybe they are easy to understand the core idea of the methodology, but when you start to implement, it requires some skills, it requires more time or some other resources, and it's not as simple as it looked like initially. So that was one of the reasons why most of startups skip those methodologies. They try to find shortcuts.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating. And were these companies from all over the world, or where were they? Were they localized to, Europe, US, or?
It was from all over the world. Wow. Actually, in the book, there is the chart. As I'm from Lithuania, from the Europe, as far as I remember, approximately 23% of startups were from Eastern Europe. They named that we are from Eastern Europe. Approximately 20 were from Western Europe. From United States, I guess it was, just a minute, I'll try to check. Main location, North America, it was 18.7%. From Asia, almost 15%. From Latin America, 10%.
So
from Middle
broad.
East, we had. We had surveys from Australia and Oceania, and even from Africa. It was specifically from Egypt, most of those startups. Uh-huh. And some of startups call themselves like global startups because they were situated in too many destinations covered. So I had, when survey was already going, I had to include additional one choice that, okay, we are global because we cannot fit in only one of those.
That's amazing. And to think of the startup mindset and entrepreneurism as a global phenomenon. We always think, Silicon Valley is the hub of all these kind of activities, but it really has become, all the barriers to entry have dropped so much with the ability to communicate and, like you say, use platforms like LinkedIn and others, and email and websites, and then to be able to write code. And really all anyone needs is a computer and a internet connection, and you can start to educate yourself, and there's no gatekeepers and barriers to entry anymore for businesses. You can start them relatively small and make, like you say, these minimal viable products that are maybe just a landing page, maybe just a questionnaire start out, like you did with a 3D model of the book, and then see how it works, and then bootstrap it up from there, and find where your traction is, and then go in that direction. It's remarkable, and I think it's really exciting for talented people all over the world to be able to have agency, to build economic development, and to have success. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
And you seem like you're really on the forefront of that. Are your clients now too, from your consulting at all around the world? It seems like you do a lot of traveling and.
Yes, I have clients from different countries, but most of clients are still from Baltic states, generally, because I live here. Most of them prefer to meet in personal. So, okay, I live here, we can meet them. And most of those people I meet during the events. So that's not a big secret. Okay, when you get on the stage, share some ideas, then you exchange business cards, and people say, okay, could you help us? Could you share with us some ideas? And it happens because I'm mostly teaching in Eastern Europe, in Central Europe, so most of the clients are from there. But we had from Mexico one client, from Hong Kong another one. Some exotics.
Fantastic. And the Baltic states are Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, right?
Estonia, yes. Actually, not the Baltic states, Belarus and Ukraine. So I have,
and Ukraine.
one started from Belarus and one from Ukraine. So
and very high tech. I mean, I know that Tallinn has been known as a capital having high bandwidth internet connections, and it seems like a lot of I might actually have my piano is in Estonia, which was a great concert grand piano brand from the Baltic states, and so there's a lot. I know there's a lot of business going on there, right? A lot of high tech type of businesses, and ones that are based in writing, making digital products and things. Is that a lot of what the startups are and things in your?
Yes, but the main thing here is it doesn't mean much where are you from originated. It means more which market you are targeting. So, for instance, there are many startups that originated from who knows where, but when they saw their market fit, with the United States or with the United Kingdom, they established their companies over there, and they become local companies, and they spread their knowledge, the knowledge about their product, about their findings from that location. So in Lithuania, we have quite many hardware products, tech startups. None of them are successful yet because most of them are doing the same mistakes. Like, let's build the product first, and then we will start thinking how to sell it. I said, come on, guys, just try to find the client, then build the product for that client, solve the solution for the client. It would be much easier to sell a product later on, and so.
Right, that's one of the initial things, right, is get out of the building, customer discovery, find out if there's what the market is before you go and build your product. I remember when I started out, starting companies and thinking about it, all the ideas were about create a big business plan and create your financial projections and then get some funding and then build the product and then go out and discover, oh, nuts. There's nobody that really wants this product, or I have a whole bunch of feature sets that really aren't applicable, and they like one little part of it. And geez, if I would have just stopped and developed that part, I would have been more successful. And so, I understand what you're saying there. And now there's all these tools that really make the process much more meaningful and get away from that making just a big business plan and saying, well, here's 100 pages of stuff, read this and then tell me what you think. And no one ever reads those plans, and the company is dead from the beginning. Yeah. Even here, we have a business plan competition where the students are encouraged to write a business plan, and then they have a bunch of people talk about the business plan, and business leaders that are very serious, give their advice, and then somebody wins the business plan competition, where it just seems like that's just an exercise in imagination. It doesn't have anything to do with reality, right?
Oh yes. Once I was invited to be a consultant for bachelor students in one of universities here in Lithuania, and I was amazed that they were given a task not to write their bachelor thesis, but to prepare a business plan. As you say, but the most important thing was that their business plan had to be a live one. It means they had to collect the real data and even to provide the prototype. For instance, the guy was trying to introduce the organic bakery in Latvia. So he had to provide not only calculations, but the product itself. So, yes, so to build the real product and to get the feedback from at least 100 potential customers. Would you like this bread or not? Would you like these cookies or not? Okay, would you buy them for a price off this one and this? So for last Christmas, I got a present from him, those organic cookies baked in his really already working bakery in Latvia. So
excellent.
So this guy did his final test, final exam, how to say, provided the business plan. The business plan was validated. He was evaluated maybe 8 or 9 out of 10 possible grades, but the business is real. So his family is already employed. We couldn't call that a startup, but at least this guy did the job, an exercise, and built a real business.
And that's the key, is validation and how these things actually do generate jobs. This is economic development at grassroots at its core. And it seems like every city, every country is trying to replicate the models of Silicon Valley and things where, like, how can we make enough of an ecosystem where we have the entrepreneurs and the creative thinkers and then the technical skills to then go and make those products, and then enough of an investment environment to then fund these things so that they can grow and see which works. And then you have the soil for the platform for employing lots of people and having success. It's a great model all around, and it feels really good to be involved in that, right? And to be making that happen.
Yes. Let's help people to create jobs for themselves and for others, not just like to pay, I don't know, some kind of payments for them. Just let's help them to build their own businesses that will employ other people, other employees. So the question is how that should be done, how new business and how new innovative businesses could be fostered. And it depends from country to country. And 3 weeks ago, I guess, I was in the conference here in Lithuania, and most of the venture capital guys were very fascinated about the possibility that our government introduced. It's called a co-investment fund. That helps to reduce the risk when you invest in a startup in a new innovative business, because the co-investment funds is okay if you invest, for instance, a certain amount of euros or dollars. The co-investment funds adds almost the same amount. It's the formula, it's the law, but the co-investment funds adds additional funds to that.
Excellent.
And if the business fails, okay, you don't owe it to the fund. That's it. You lost your own money as venture capitalist, you lost your time as a startup, and so on. But if the business succeeds, co-investment fund doesn't take equity from the startup. They take only a certain interest rate, 5% or 6%. It's not very much, but only in the success chances. So it's a good financial leverage for VCs to invest in startups.
And it's non-dilutive.
Yeah. And we expect that it might help significantly.
That's excellent to encourage that type of investment and to encourage that type of growth and to encourage a lot of startups. And then with your work, to try to up the success rate of those startups and, like you say, reduce the risk, take out the uncertainty and try to make them have a better chance of being successful. And I'd like to go just a little bit through your the methodology that you've set up. You say there was 5 parts, right? It's feasibility, hypothesis and experiments, and then fundraising. Like you say, don't jump to the fundraising first. Get the work done at the beginning so you know you have some viability, and then product launch, and then growth hacking. Yes.
So the logic is as follows. You should invest the least of minimum of your efforts at the very beginning and the least of financial resources. So the easiest thing, not everyone wants to do that, but still the easiest thing is to check the secondary data. The information that is already available on the internet, on books, on research papers. If you imagine that you can create a value for certain customers, just try to find numbers to back your educated guesses. For instance, if there is a significant size of the market, if you hit the market, will it be significant? Wow, if there are 3 customers on the market, you don't need to go to fundraising, you don't need to build MVP. Your business is doomed to be unprofitable. That's it. But when you check the whole feasibility study, when you check potential competitors, when you check potential customers, you try to estimate that, okay, this market looks quite promising. If we find a certain way to satisfy certain needs in the market, well, that's like a green light to go to the next stage. And the next stage is a hypothesis and experiments. Yes, my hypothesis is that we can build the value for customer in this way or in that way, and now we can check that. Another hypothesis is that the customer will be willing to pay a certain amount for this solution. Another hypothesis is that we will have chances to reach those customers through different channels, through particular channels, or at least at the price that we already have in our minds. Maybe it will be too expensive for us to reach those potential customers. So what it is, if the market is large, if we even find the solution, but we can't reach them. if it's more expensive to advertise the product rather than your profit margin is. So you don't need to go for fundraising, for market launch, if you haven't found the solution right here. Like primary data shows that your business model, that your assumptions are true. You should find facts to replace your initial assumptions that you made on secondary data. That's it. Once you have your business model validated through those hypotheses and experiments, then you can go for fundraising.
And then have that product market fit, right, would be the...
Yes. It's the essential hypothesis, product market fit. That's the essence. If you don't have that, it will be very, very difficult to talk to investors.
Right.
Personally, I haven't met any one of those senior investors, serious investors, who are trying to invest in innovative businesses. They asking, okay, do you have product market fit? Another question is, do you have real traction? If you don't have traction, but you have at least product market fit. Okay, let's invest a little bit funds and check if you can find the traction for your product market fit. If you can show the numbers are growing steadily and correspondingly to our invested money into the marketing. If yes, then we can go. So
and those would be the basis of what the initial valuation would be, based on how strong those indications are.
Yes, exactly. Sadly, I have one old client who tried to, not tried, he's still trying to build an innovative business, but they didn't find the market fit. They invested huge amounts of money in coding, and now they are looking at their pockets and they seem to be empty or going to be empty in quite short time. And they asked me, Donatas, maybe you know some venture capitals, angel investors. It's about the time for us to have some help. I said, okay, I'll try, but do you have some verification that you are building the real stuff? He said, we have nine results that we are building the wrong stuff, but now we found the 10th or 11th idea that it looks like to be what the market is looking for. I said, what it means looks like. Do you have a quantitable measures about that? So it's a difficult situation with them. They try to implicate the methodology, but haven't done it till the very end. At least they understood that they don't have to invest money before they have a market fit and they can find some traction in the market. But it's okay. I wish them best luck in the fundraising process. But if I was an investor, I wouldn't invest in such startup because it's too risky. It's not the potential is not uncovered in this company. Everything happen. But okay, let's say we have solved the fundraising issues. We got at least one round that helps us to develop the startup for half a year, for a year, or up till the market launch. The next stage is the market launch.
Well, just in that fundraising stage too, there would be a rationale for this amount of money to develop to this milestone or this inflection point for an increase in valuation, and we're going to give you money under this kind of budget to hit that part where we'll see and measure again whether or not you've made that success metric at that time, right? Would be the
Yes. It's the most usual way that investors don't say, okay, take $1 million and build your startup. When you have some good news, come back and tell us how are you. No, as you said, there's a certain milestone, a certain money, and a certain time when you have to achieve that milestone. If you fail, we don't invest anymore. You don't get other 900,000 because you failed. That's it. You must follow that. So, okay, the fourth stage is the product launch. Let's assume you already got money, you already built the product, now you have to enter the market. Here is as well one of the very, very dangerous mistake and very common mistake that most startups think, not all, but most, that entering the market with a big launch will grant them success. Most of them said, okay, we need a huge budget for marketing to cover the whole market, and that will be awesome. We will have press releases, we will have advertising covering everywhere, and everyone will find out about our product, and it will be awesome. Our product will be purchased, and that's it. Wrong.
That's delusional thinking, right?
Yes, yes. It could be the way for launching a new product in a traditional businesses when the market knows the product or the competitors. But when you build some kind of an innovation, you must do that step by step. You already
Early
did the
adopters.
product. Yes, yes, exactly, and try to foster them to spread the news. Not like, okay, let's burn our money on the huge campaigns. Approximately 80% of those startup launching campaigns with the new product launches fail. So only one startup from five can expect that. Yeah, it's not my research, but I checked other researches that were done. Big launches, how they are successful for startups. So the success rate is less than 20%. It means that if you expect to launch a product with a big launch, with a big budget, with a big boom theory, come on, less than 20%, 80% that you will fail. So the odds are not very good.
In your favor.
So,
and that's part of reducing the risk and reducing the uncertainty is to get higher probability
Yes.
launches.
So in this stage 4, and I'm talking what could be done instead of hoping for success during the big launch, that you first of all try to build a strong brand, and it's not just like a logo. It needs to be really done serious homework before that. Yes, you should think about customer touch points. Not like, okay, we will burn our money in advertising and the magic will happen. Come on. What are those touch points where we can check our customer, where we can pitch the message, what kind of message should be in this checkpoint, in another touch point, and you should have a scheme about that. And if you see that it's not going very well, the conversion rates are not high, so let's check which touch. Yes, let's try for this particular touch point, another message, another vehicle to deliver the message, another value proposition. Let's test it. So it's not like burning money on the huge campaign and that's it. No, like doing step by step. It's almost the similar way as in the hypothesis. Because real marketers, real startups never stop learning on hypotheses. So the same is with the product launch. Yeah. So okay, you should have the marketing plan and you should follow that. The best methodology, not like a methodology, but the best practice that I've noticed and that most startups admitted, that it's not enough to have our marketing plan. The first point is the shorter the marketing plan, the easier it is to implement. Because you don't have to, you don't have to read 20 or 30 pages and how to implement that. So in this book, I offer even a marketing plan on a single page, just like a sketch, but you take this one page and you have quite clear idea of what you should be doing and how you introduce your product into the market. And another point is that those startups who were checking their marketing plan progress weekly, they achieved best results.
Right. Experiment and quickly feedback and iterate.
Yes. You don't have to be a maniac and check your marketing plan every day and report to each other that what I have done today, what I'm going to do tomorrow. No, just okay. The Friday comes and let's review what we have achieved during this week and what's the plan for the next week, and maybe it needs to be adjusted because we found out something vitally important. So we don't have to follow the plan as it's plainly written. It's an organic stuff as well, like a business model canvas at the second stage. Yep. So the same idea.
Yeah, and that's a good idea too. Is not you could have measure too granularly like every day, and maybe make decisions before you had enough information and feedback to make a proper decision. So having some patience and waiting like a week to actually aggregate up some data so you can make a meaningful decision about course correcting and instead of jumping too soon and just flying all over the place.
Oh yeah, it's quite possible if you have invested a significant amount of money in one vehicle delivering your message. You got 1,000 clicks and the conversion rate is poor. You don't have to wait a week and to see maybe the miracle happens. If you got 1,000 clicks through that banner and there's no conversion, probably the banner, the message, or your value proposition is dead. So yeah, you don't need to wait a week. But generally, you should review your marketing plan at least once a week. And yeah.
And this ability to experiment in this way is relatively recent. I mean, it was very difficult to do 40 years ago, maybe with a print ad or even a television ad and see. But now with Google Analytics and with analytic tools and with ways to look at heat maps of your web page and your landing page and actually see which and A/B and split testing type of methodologies, you can actually experiment and see what works and then deploy the resources into what's working and discard what's not or fix what's not. So it's even to be able to do this is something that's only happened in the last maybe decade or so, right? Is to be able to do these kind of experimentations.
Yes, and it becomes even more and more important. Mm-hmm. Those companies who don't measure their results in marketing and don't make A/B tests, their results are not so exciting as could be.
Right. Look at really, and even on a financial, like look at return on investment and those type of financial metrics, but on how how these things are working.
Yeah. Okay, and the last stage, the fifth one, is growth hacking. Most startups says, okay, show me the growth hacking techniques, and that's all we need to know about them. I said, okay, guys, come on. Have you completed all those 4 stages before? Because when we try to talk about hacking your growth, you should already have a validated business model, a real product that has some traction, and now you like to pour a petrol in the fire to boost everything. But if you don't have a fire, there's no much sense putting petrol in it. Nothing will happen. Just you simply waste your money, waste your time, and that's it. So if you have done your homework, you have all those 4 stages covered. Now, yes, we can talk about hacking your startup growth. But it's not, again, some kind of a magic. I always ask startups what kind of growth engine you intend to employ. And that's one of the essential features. Most startups say, okay, we expect our stuff will go viral because it's so innovative, it's so cool, and everybody will start speaking about that. I said, okay, so let's calculate how many brands you are using today. Your jeans, your trousers, your drink, your food, your earphones, your laptop, and et cetera, 50 brands, 40 brands, and how many of them you have recommended today for someone? Oops. Mostly, there were no recommendations today. So why should anyone care about your brand, even if it's so cool? So why? And then people say, yes, maybe we should think about why they should recommend us. And that's again, we try to think whether it will be a sticky engine of growth. It will be a viral, or it will be a paid engine. So just have a plain logical decision how it's going to be. And then methodologically, we should build all the growth hacking steps based on that.
Excellent. Yeah, and having all of that customer feedback and that customer validation baked into the product so that there's hooks in there to do the growth hacking, to get things to go viral, and then to look at what the messaging should be. Fantastic. Well, and you've come up with a great, rational, scalable way to do this and the process, and it's very impressive. Your work is very impressive, and I've really appreciated this time to speak with you. And I just to maybe finish up, or if you have anything else you'd like to say to talk about.
No, it was a pleasure to talk to you.
It's great.
If you would have any questions, any other topics to be covered, I'm here, so we can schedule the time and have another meeting.
Great, we could do it. We could do an episode 2. And where can people reach you? Where's the best place? On learningcurve.com and.
It's evolutioncurve.com.
Evolutioncurve.com.
Evolutioncurve.com, and people can download templates, all templates that I mentioned in the book. They can download even 100 pages of the book. It's covering the whole stage 1. 100 pages of the book. You don't have to pay anything. If you like it, okay, you can go to Amazon and take it. But I sincerely hope that if you check those pages, you can come up to some ideas how to check your initial assumptions. And yeah, I'll be happy if it helps you. And soon I will be preparing the short online courses. It as well, most of them will be free of charge. So evolutioncurve.com, there will be some updates. if someone would like to get in contact with me personally, probably the best way would be to do that through LinkedIn. You can find me Donatas Jonikas, my name, surname. Just write a short message, just a brief introduction, not like the automated message, and I will know that this person is real, that there is a talk to be among us, and I will always check and reply.
Fantastic. And I'll put that in the show notes, and I encourage everybody to get your book. It's excellent. And getting those first pages, the first 100 pages that's a great way to, like you say, why should I believe you? That kind of proof. Here's the proof. Yeah. That'll encourage everyone to buy the book. It's a fantastic book and a fantastic methodology. I really appreciate it, Donatas. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you, John.
I'll talk to you soon. Have a great evening. Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks for listening. The show notes are available on the website. Just go to nba-asap.com and click on podcast on the menu along the top. And there you'll find all things related to the podcast. Just scroll down and there are links to the show notes for each episode. If you have any questions or suggestions, email me at john.cousins@nba-asap.com. And follow me on Twitter. I'm very active there. My handle is @JJCousins. And send me a connect request on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect with you there. And go to the website and sign up for the mailing list. Thanks again. Until next time, peace. NBA ASAP. MBA ASAP.